Houston looks to have a pretty rough year this season. The roster really doesn't look that great, in my opinion, and not to mention the schedule is not easy whatsoever, especially for a team like Houston and the way their roster sets up. They really don't match up well with almost anybody on their schedule, so this could be a brutal year for Houston as their second year in a Power 4 conference. Looking at that schedule, they've got three non-conference games there, and honestly, UNLV is a solid Group of Five team. Houston's at home. I think Houston is favored as of right now, but I'm inclined to pick UNLV in that game. I honestly think UNLV might be the better team. A road trip to Oklahoma is not going to be easy whatsoever. That's just a brutal non-conference game for Houston. Rice is probably the only really winnable game there. I guess UNLV is winnable. I don't quite see Houston making that one a win. So I'd say Rice probably ends up being the first win of the season, the only one in the non-conference. And then looking at the Big 12 schedule, Cincinnati is probably the easiest team that they play all year, and they have that game on the road, which is just really not helpful when Houston's trying to pick up at least one conference win. That one they might be able to do, but I think the Bearcats will be favored at home, honestly. Iowa State the week after is going to be a pretty tough game. Solid Iowa State team. Should be around 6, 7, maybe 8 wins. I think one of those probably is going to be Houston. So can't really see Houston winning that game, even though they're at home. A road trip to TCU is also super difficult. Another 6, 7 win team in the Big 12. It's also on a Friday night, which I'm not sure how I feel about these Friday night games. I kind of like college football on Saturdays, but this one should be pretty interesting. TCU's got the home field advantage. It's going to be real tough for Houston to pull off that win. After the bye week, those next three games are absolutely brutal with a road trip to Kansas and then Utah and Kansas State at home. Houston will be underdogs in all three of those games, probably by double digits in all three of those games, and I really can't see them winning any of those. After the second bye week, Arizona on the road is another super difficult game. I think this is a really good Arizona team. I don't really see Houston competing in this one either. Baylor at home would maybe be the second most likely game they could win in the Big 12, but it's not a great Baylor team. I'm not super high on Baylor. So this would probably be the game that if I was going to pick Houston to win a Big 12 game, it'd be either this or Cincinnati, I think. And then BYU on the road is not the worst way to end your season, but I think this is a solid BYU team. A lot of people are underrating BYU. Also, they could be another one of those teams in that 5 to 7 win range. Can't quite see Houston winning that game either. Which, even though Houston's got 6 home games and 6 away games, with 4 of their opponents being ranked in the rank and file top 25, a schedule difficulty of 6.5 out of 10, and just overall, it really doesn't set up well for Houston at all. Looking at the official prediction, there is a lot of red on here for the Cougars. They are going to end up having the worst record out of all the Power 4 teams that we predicted records for. Rice is the only win there. I could see them maybe beating UNLV. Maybe they beat Cincinnati. Maybe they could beat Baylor at home. But even if they won all of those games, 4-8 is the best case scenario. Is really not good at all for Houston. To be fair, 1-11 is their worst case scenario, and that's where we've got them at. I wouldn't be shocked if they won maybe 2 games. Probably 3 would be as far as I'd be comfortable to pick for Houston to win. The projected records 3.6 and 8.4, so it does favor them pulling off two maybe 3 upsets. So not impossible for them to have a better season than this, but also not super likely. FPI's got them at 4-8 flat. I don't think they're quite going to get there. Like I said, that's the absolute best case scenario. Only a 0.3% chance to make the playoffs. And really, that's just not going to happen. Houston won't be a playoff team this year. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was our last video in our series predicting every single Power 4 team's record by the start of the college football season. So we are done, and go ahead and stay tuned for the rest of our content this year. We're going to be doing weekly predictions for top 25 teams. We'll put out a weekly top 25. We'll react to Saturday's slate of games. So make sure to like and subscribe for that, and I'll see you in our next video.